Hello everyone, I've just been to see Marty Supreme. What an amazing film. Directed by Josh Safdie, it famously stars Timothée Chalamet, but there are some amazing star turns from Gwyneth Paltrow coming back from retirement, the billionaire Kevin O'Leary kind of playing himself rather convincingly, Tyler the Creator's in there, Abel Ferrara, the director, makes rather a brilliant cameo appearance. So all sorts of weird and wonderful people mixed together in the most weird and wonderful film, a sort of spiraling chaos, screwball horror film. Screwball. Well, I mean, there's a strong comedy element, but of course it's also a white knuckle ride of a movie. I'm going to give very little away about the plot because I think you have to see it and just be carried along by it. I don't think I've ever seen a sporting film that I thought was really interesting in any way, but this one is. And that's because it's not really about table tennis. I mean, table tennis features in a rather wonderful and dynamic way through the film, but this is a film that's really operating on a much deeper level. I think it belongs to a kind of amazing tradition of Jewish narratives about a kind of desperate sense of how do you belong. It's a film where you're shuttled from pillar to post, you're constantly restless, nomadic, you never know who you are or where you are. And there's a desperation about trying to achieve your goal. And at the end of the film, there's a wonderful sense, which I won't go into, but there's this wonderful sense of return, of homecoming. It's also a film, and I find this very interesting, about if you're talented and you're young and you're ambitious, but you have really very little power or wealth, how do you achieve your goal? And the truth is, and this is a story you find in the history of music, from the Beatles back to Richard Wagner, talented people trying to force their way by whatever means and making all sorts of morally problematic decisions en route. And it's a story about how a young person with talent has to interact with people who have power and wealth. One more thing to say about the music. The score's by Daniel Lopatin. I would say it's rather brilliant. It's been criticised for being anachronistic. I think that's the whole point. You're watching a film that's set in 1952. Occasionally you hear a band or newsreel or whatever with 1950s music. But largely the score is full of sort of 80s style electronica, and also features songs by Tears for Fears. However you interpret the score, I think it works. It seems to summon up that weird kind of insane energy, that desperate ping-ponging craziness that underpins the movie.